Yeah.
So if some of you want to grab chairs, I mean, we're not going to be, I don't think we're going to talk that long, but you know, I just wanted Marty to share this. No one has captured the history of the river, the campaign, as this crazy fellow. And so I just wanted him to be able to share what's here and why it's here and all of that. So Marty, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I'm just one of many who've attempted to capture the story of the Stanislaus River struggle. And there's so many wonderful people who've documented it in so many different ways. I'd just like to welcome everybody here to the Stanislaus River Museum. I founded it in June of 2010. And my background is in filmmaking from the University of Southern California. And when I moved up to the Motherlode in 1976 and became aware of the Stanislaus struggle, I realized that it was a microcosm of water struggles all over the United States and frankly all over the world. And so I thought it would be very, very important to document as much of it as I possibly could. And so that was the reason that I founded this museum. And I basically broke it down into 4 parts. Part one would be what was saved and what was lost, this unique ecosystem that was buried under hundreds of feet of water. People needed to understand and know what's beneath that water. So to document what was there, to me, was very, very important. And there's so many wonderful photographers who've done so much to document this. And some of these people are Ron Pickup and Dale Batchelor and Jeff Nixon and Don Briggs and Michael Harami and Mark Leader Adams and Tyler Childress and Richard Close and Tim Palmer. And Alexander Gauguin has written some wonderful descriptions of what the whole struggle was all about. So that was part one. And part two was to honor all those who were involved in this struggle. And for instance, here we see a picture of Parrots Ferry Day, of all the people who were lined up on Parrots Ferry Bridge on June 2nd, 1979, to say to the state of California, to the nation, and to the world, do not raise the Stanislaus River above 808 feet, Parrots Ferry Bridge. And of course, there was an opposition to that. And above this picture, we have a picture of a group called Friends of New Melones, who wanted to fill the canyon even faster. And they're pouring water off the new bridge in an effort to fill the canyon even faster.
We'd let them do that.
So it was a very controversial, and it really split this community in 1979 and 1980, and in some ways right up to the present time. But my second purpose, again, was to honor all the people who gave so much in an effort to save this river. And somebody like Mark Dubois, who was able to chain himself to a rock in the river, and because of a personal relationship he had with some members of the Bureau of Reclamation, he was able to keep the river alive for 1 more year, to keep the filling from happening for 1 more year. And there's so many wonderful people who gave so much and were even willing to give their lives to attempt to save this river. And so I've documented all the different people who have made an effort to save this river. That was part two. Part three was to try and understand the lessons that were learned from this particular struggle, this particular battle. And these lessons involve economics, the economics of water, the politics of water, the technology of water. And it was very new at that time, and it was the battle to save the Stanislaus that began to make people aware of all these other factors. And as we see, as this drought continues to ravage California, we see all the solutions that people are coming up with, from drip irrigation in the Central Valley to down in Los Angeles, to rolling plastic balls over their reservoirs in an effort to keep water from evaporating. The politics of water, the economics of water, who benefits from water. 80% of water in California is used by big agriculture. And so we have to try to address that issue and make them understand what it is they grow, where they grow it, why they grow it, and if there's any other ways that they can do their agriculture without destroying all our wonderful rivers. And so part 3 would be all the lessons that were learned from the battle to save the Stanislaus, and there's a whole section in here on those lessons. Part 4 is saving other rivers. How can we save other rivers? And John Amadeo, who was involved with the Tuolumne River Trust, did such a wonderful job and helped to save this, the Tuolumne River. So while we lost one river, we saved another river. And there are rivers endangered all over the United States, all over the world. And if we take the lessons that we've learned from the Stanislaus River struggle, we can save many, many other rivers. And people are just becoming aware of that as this drought continues here in California and across the whole world. In Argentina, in Puerto Rico, there's just droughts everywhere. Yet there are solutions, and a lot of these solutions do come from the Stanislaus River struggle. So that's a brief overview of what I was trying to do here, and basically to make certain that nobody forgets the Stanislaus River. Please, we must remember the Stanislaus River, because not only was it such a wonderful, unique, special ecosystem, perhaps never ever to be duplicated, we learned so many lessons from it that will allow us to save other rivers. So that's overall the reason why I started this museum here in Sonora, California, basically right next to the Stanislaus River.
Any questions for?
And we do have to get to
Yeah. So again, Marty, I sense that many of those of us who still haven't, our hearts haven't healed, I think we're beginning to understand that it's been so painful, it's been easy not to talk about it. And my sense is we're now at a time when, you've gifted us with capturing some of this memory that we can wake up the next generation to go, you don't know how many thousands of people went to Washington, D.C., and I mean, we did things we never thought we could ever do because of the love of a place. So now we get to invite, and people are doing it all over the planet, and rivers need more voices, and thanks for capturing threads of our history.
Thank you for everything you've done. Oh, gosh. Thank you.
So if anybody wants to grab a last snack in there that Jay offered, and what time is it? Anybody have one hand?
9:20.
9:30. Okay. So for those who, I know some are joining us today, some were with us yesterday and are leaving, but for those meeting us today, we're going to be meeting at Harris Ferry. There's a cutout about a half mile when you go down, go to Columbia. As you go down to the river towards, what's the sign say? It'll say East Vallecito, or it'll say Angels Camp. Anyway, about a half mile from the bridge, there's a big turnout. There's two more closer to the bridge, but we'll be parked there. So we'll meet some of you there.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.